welcome back to another video. It's your girl Selmi here again. If this is your first time, thank you so much for clicking, and I hope you consider subscribing. To my OGs, the love is too deep, the love is too much. I'm in a good mood today. Okay guys, thank you so much. Just subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already. Let's go into this video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys jobs that I don't want to say that you will not get, okay? I'm going to say that you might not get, because I am not God and rules and regulations are subject to change. And what else? Yeah, anything could happen, and yeah, never say never, okay? So these are jobs that you might not get as an immigrant in Canada. I'll be telling you why. Honestly, the why for most of them is really simple, but the very first one is not that simple, which is why I'm starting with it. Yeah, I'm in the mood today. Okay, so the first job, this one is my opinion, okay? You can have your own opinion, but the first job that will be very hard, or you might not get as an immigrant, is a waiter / waitress job. And you ask why? Let me tell you why. I'm so dramatic today. You see this job here, it's not only for immigrants, right, that it's hard for. Even Caucasians or like the Canadians, the whole the restaurant chain industry, especially restaurants that are very high end, tend to be, they would not admit it obviously, but tend to be discriminatory with their hiring process. They look for a certain look, certain look. I don't want to use words. This industry, they look for a certain look. It's about their brand image. I know there was one particular popular restaurant chain here in Canada that even had a lawsuit, and I think their rationale for it was it's their brand image. It's part of their brand image, right? So the people they hire need to represent the brand image, which I can't remember. This was something that I discussed in school. Like, it was on a class and a professor and the students, we were all talking about it. Yeah, so I can't remember what the outcome was for the case. But basically, a lot of the high-end, restaurants and, I don't know, outing places, they tend to look for a certain look in people that they hire, a certain color in people that they hire, a certain style of hair in people that they hire, a certain physique in people that they hire, color too. And not that it is impossible, no. I actually have a friend of mine who lives in Newfoundland and works in an industry like that. Basically, obviously, if you go into an Indian restaurant, for example, you see Indian people, right? If you go into a Nigerian restaurant, they almost likely hire Nigerian people. So I'm talking about, like, we say the Western, the intercontinental restaurant chains, the popular ones in town. It's hard for immigrants to get jobs in those kind of places. So that's just I'll just touch it and leave it. Now okay, so I have like 3 in this category. So we have the armed forces, police officer, I think military. I'm going to put screenshots from their websites to show you that I am not lying, okay? All right, that you cannot get, this one is, you cannot get a job if you're not. There are some that you can get if you're a permanent resident. I'm just going to quickly open my phone for the screenshot. Bear with me here. Okay, so I'm looking at the one for the police officers, and I'll put it up here. It says you must have Canadian citizenship or permanent resident status to be a police officer in Canada. So if you're looking to become a police officer in Canada, just being on your work permit or being a student will not get you there. Obviously, eventually when you when your status changes in Canada, then yes, you can qualify as long as you meet the other requirements to become a police officer. Same with the armed forces. Actually, something changed in 2022, so only Canadian citizens could serve with the Canadian Armed Forces. But in December of 2022, the minister announced that permanent residents are welcome to apply to enroll in the Canadian Armed Forces. So this just changed last year. The next one as well is also in that category. It's correctional officers. So if you want to work in the prison and stuff like that, you have to be a Canadian resident or a permanent resident or Canadian citizen to work in there. The next one is, I feel like this video is going to be very fast and I like that. So the next one is the Canada Border Service Agency. I hope I got the full name right. So Canada Border Service Agency. So you know those people that, when you first land in Canada, basically the immigration officers, those people, you cannot walk in as a border service officer, I think is what they are called. Yeah, if you're not a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen, it's their requirement, which really brings me to a question that I have, which I feel like I kind of wish I was in school now, so I would ask one of my professors, because if you know, I study human resource management, so this is probably something I have to look into. I know I've been taught that asking if someone is a Canadian citizen is discriminatory. So as a recruiter, you're not supposed to ask people if they're Canadian citizens. The only legit question to ask in that regard is, are you eligible to work in Canada? That is the only question you're supposed to ask in that regard. Am I able to work in Canada? Do I have my work permit? Yes. Do I have a valid work permit or valid study permit or basically permit to work in Canada? Yes, I do. Why do you want to know if I am a Canadian citizen? I'm not fighting. I don't want to be a police officer or whatever. I'm just thinking in terms of being a recruiter, being in the human resource field. Like, how legit is this? Like, this could be grounds for discrimination. I remember a case that we studied in school where there was this guy who attended an interview. I don't know what industry it was in, but he attended an interview, and the interviewer asked him, are you a Canadian citizen? And he said yes. Later on, during the whole onboarding process, they find that he is not a Canadian citizen, that he had lied during the interview, and they fired him, or they didn't end up giving him the job that he had already gotten. He sued the company, and guess what? He won. Why did he win? Because it's grounds for discrimination. The only question you're supposed to ask is, are you eligible to work in Canada? Because say a recruiter asks me, or an interviewer asks me, are you a Canadian citizen? And I say no to that. That's already creating a bias for you. Now you know that this person is not a Canadian citizen. English is probably not their first language. Oh, and then it opens up room for questions that you're not supposed to be asking. Oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm from India, or I'm from Zimbabwe. And now, oh, maybe I don't like Zimbabwean people, or maybe I don't like Indian people. Basically, you're putting yourself in situations that gives grounds for discrimination. So basically, that guy won because that was not a question that the recruiter should have asked him. So he lied. Okay, and so what? I lied. That's not even a question I should have been asked in the first place. So my answer is not even a factor here. So basically, anyways, I'm not trying to argue with the government, because a lot of these places that I've just mentioned have to do with being in the government, being a police officer and stuff like that. I'm sure obviously there's some kind of caveats and some kind of rules that are legit. I'm not saying their rules are not legit. I'm just bringing that up because my attention was brought to it, because I went to school, okay, and they taught me this, and now I'm seeing that, oh, you can't apply if you're not a permanent resident. But is that discrimination? Big question mark. Is that discrimination? Anyways, I feel like I said, this is, I guess, is something that it's a personal research that I have to do, then that I'm just sharing with you. So let's move on to the next job that you might not get as a Canadian, as an immigrant. Okay, so the next one on my list is the provincial government. So it depends on your province. Honestly, you know what, I will put myself out here. I don't know about other provinces. I only know about the province of British Columbia. For BC, the province of British Columbia, you cannot, well, as an immigrant, if you don't have your permanent resident or your Canadian citizenship, you can get a job with them, like totally possible. You can get a job with them, but you cannot get a permanent position. So your position will be a temporary one. What's the word I'm looking for? Subject to when you get your permanent residence, if you get what I mean. I'll reiterate, with the province of British Columbia, you can get a job with them if you're not a permanent resident or Canadian citizen, but it would be a temporary position. It would be temporary, subject to when you get your permanent residence, your permanent resident or Canadian citizenship. Then you can be converted into a permanent employee. Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, that's what I know about that. And the last one on my list is flight attendant. So to fly, I don't know if it's all airlines. Let me just grab my screenshot from the website. So basically, to be eligible, flight attendants must have permanent resident status to work in Canada, either through citizenship or permanent residency, with a visa required for the country where the plane lands or takes off. So I don't know if this is all airlines, but I am presuming that it is. So basically, if you want to be a flight attendant, you have to have your para card or be a citizen of Canada. So yeah, those are all that I have. I genuinely feel like there should be a couple more, but I think I touched based on a good number of them. So this video was really short and sweet, and thank you so much for tuning in. Tuning in as if it's podcast or something, but yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Please subscribe, and let me know what videos you would like me to film. Let me know what rants you would like me to rant. I'll come here and film for you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.